Hello. Wayne Roach is my name. And I'm the lead singer in the band, the Strawberry Jam. Welcome you to Wayne Roach Reads the Bible. Today, we've got a very important one. Chapter 5 of Deuteronomy. Most famous is the 10 Commandments, is what was given, to Moses, yes, on the mountain. If you're interested, I sings in a band called the Strawberry Jam, a rock and roll band from England. We write very nice songs that benefit the world in, childrenist ways. But today we're going to read this chapter, because that's what I'm doing every day. I'll read the entire book, all the good news from back to front, So today we're going to read chapter 5 of Deuteronomy. Welcome, and please watch my other videos, yes. And, good. Moses called together all the people of Israel and said to them, listen, people of Israel, listen to the laws that I'm giving you today. Learn them and be sure that you obey them. At Mount Sinai, the Lord our God made a covenant, not only with your fathers, but with all of us who is living today. There on the mountain the Lord spoke to you face to face from the fire. I stood between you and the Lord at the time to tell you what he said, because you were afraid of the fire and would not go up to the mountain. The Lord said, I am the Lord your God who rescued you from Egypt, where you were slaves. Worship no God but me. Yes, so, I don't know, did we read this one before? 10 Commandments? Leviticus, is it where it was? I don't know. I don't think so. No, we didn't read it before. It seems like it's talking like it was read before. Worship no God but me. Do not make for yourselves images of anything on earth, or on in heaven, or on earth, or in the water under the earth. Do not bow down to any idol, but worship it. For I, the Lord your God, I am the Lord your God, and I tolerate no rivals. I bring punishment on those who hate me and on their descendants. And they're to the third and fourth generation, all the way down to the third and fourth generation, but I show my love to the thousands of generations of those who love me and obey my laws. Do not use my name for evil purposes, for I, the Lord your God, will punish anyone who misuses my name. Observe the Sabbath and keep it holy, as I, the Lord your God, have commanded you. You have 6 days in which you have to do your work, but on the 7th day, that is the day of rest dedicated to me, on that day no one is to work, neither you, your children, your slaves, your animals, nor the foreigners who live in your country. Your slaves must rest just as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that I, the Lord your God, rescued you by my great power and strength. That is why I command you to observe the Sabbath. Respect your father and your mother, as I, the Lord your God, commanded you, so that all may go well with you, and so that you may live a long time in the land that I have given you. Do not commit adultery. Do not commit murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not accuse anyone falsely. Do not desire another man's wife. Do not desire his cattle, his land, his slaves, his cattle, his donkeys, or anything else that he owns. I think we read this before. These are the commandments the Lord gave to you, all of you, when you was gathered at the mountain, when he spoke with a mighty voice from the fire, from the thick clouds, and gave these commandments and no others. Then he wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. When the old mountain was on fire, and you heard a voice from the darkness, your leaders and the chiefs of the tribes came to me and said, the Lord our God showed us his greatness and his glory when we heard him speak from the fire. Today we've seen that it is possible for a man to continue to live even though God has spoken to him. But why should we risk death again? That terrible fire will destroy us. We are sure to die if we hear the Lord our God speak again. Has any human being ever lived after hearing the living God speak from the fire? Go back, Moses, and listen to everything the Lord our God says. then return and tell us what he said to you. We will listen and obey. When the Lord heard this, he said to me, I have heard what these people said, and they are right. If only they would always feel this way. If only they would always honour me and obey all my commands, so that everything would go well with them and their descendants forever. Go and tell them to return to their tents, but you, Moses, stay here with me, and I will give you all my laws and commands. Teach them to the people, so that they will obey them in the land that I am giving them. People of Israel, be sure that you do everything the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not disobey any of his laws. Obey them all, so that everything will go well with you, so that you will continue to live in the land that you was going to occupy. That is the end of chapter 5. Yes, I don't know, but yes, this is Wayne Roach, my name. Good night and God